Someone in Dan's chat, and they might be here now, and I'm not putting you on blast, okay? But they said, hey, Dan, is 12 blue roses too much for a first date? It's her favorite flower. And Dan was just like, I mean, the Cliff Notes, he's like, I don't even know where to start with that one. Yes, it's too much for a first date. How did you know that it's her favorite flower? Like, you shouldn't even know what her favorite flower is before you've even been on one date. And then he was like, I met her on LinkedIn, and everyone was like, oh man, it's like the more answers you get, the more questions follow. And he was trying to help him out a little bit, which I think there was some good advice that he should appreciate. I told him you should bring one blue rose, and you should say, do you like this flower? Some girl at the coffee shop gave it to me for some reason. Like that, it was just like, oh. That's lying. Yes, it is lying. But do not do that. It would be funny. Honestly, it would be better than giving her a dozen of her favorite flower on the first date. It might not be the best option, but I think it would be better than giving her a dozen of her favorite flower on the first date. Unless you're in a time machine to like the 1700s and she's like, you know, your third cousin whose son is going to inherit the Duchy of Dartmoor or whatever. In which case you're probably chilling, but no better way to start a relationship than with a lie. Bro, what are you talking about? Probably every relationship starts with a lie. Oh, I can't do Saturday, I'm busy. How's Thursday night? What are you going to tell your therapist? Like, oh, our whole relationship was founded on a lie. That every human interaction intersects with lying at some point. Don't be ridiculous.
Have a good trip, 47.
We take damage from breathing. I'm not even joking, by the way. So I'm still like a little under the weather. Like when I woke up this morning, I did shoot an alien out of my nose and then took some Dayquil. But I do think that whatever virus infected me this weekend outcompeted the virus that was giving me chronic bronchitis. It's like rock, paper, scissors. It's like chronic bronchitis beat me, but then this virus beats bronchitis, but now I'm beating this virus. It's a damn battlefield in there. Okay, I'm very wary about this because I'm pretty sure as soon as I stop blending in, everyone's gonna like John Wick 2 on me.
So you need to be tactical. Be careful, 47.
This dude has a hairline tattoo that says Carpe Diem. I'm not messing with him, buddy. Get me out of here. Best way to eat canned tuna? You might think my food takes are crazy now. This is like me softening into a more sane adult. I had a summer job. We take those. In my first summer off from university. For lunch, I used to bring a can of tuna and yellow mustard. And I would open up the can, drain it in the sink. I'd rinse the sink out afterwards so it didn't smell like fish more than it had to. And then pour some mustard into the can, mix it up, and eat it. 120 calorie lunch. Yeah, it's one of the reasons that I stopped doing that. Because you would like eat lunch and then like 20 minutes later you would be hungry. And you'd be like, what? I just ate lunch. Turns out that like potatoes, bread, rice, like all that stuff is actually like, it can serve an important purpose in bulking out the calorie count of your actual meals. Soup for lunch, one of the worst plays of all time. I agree. The exception is if you're sick or if it's a soup that's like a very rich soup, like a pho or something like that. But like a Campbell-style soup for lunch, if you're not sick, is literally like 180 calories. Like you can't sustain another half day of labor on that with a smile on your face at least. I was, for lunch, I'm like an 800 calorie lunch, Andy, for sure. Dinner runs the gamut. Lunch, I try to lunch max for sure. Because I have a very small breakfast because I'm late for stream every day. So then by 2 p.m. when I eat lunch, I'm like starving. And then for dinner, I'm usually like, I'll just eat whatever's on my plate. And then maybe like, if I need to modify it after, I'll just eat like 4 apples. Thought on meat and bread porchetta sandwiches. Meat and bread, I like it as an establishment. I feel like maybe they're doing the right thing. JJ Bean, there were like 3 JJ Beans, and then the next year there were 100. Meat and bread, there's still only like 2 or 3 locations, right? Sometimes it just annoys me though, because it's all made with like real food. Sometimes you go to Meat and Bread at like, 2 p.m. and they're like, we're out of porchetta. And I'm like, well, then I'm out of here, man. I'm gone. Chat, is Timex a good watch brand? I was looking through my drawer. I found a Timex watch that I bought in 2012. It is missing a battery, but I could always just like every minute, I could just pull out like the tine and then move it ahead like 1 minute or something like that. Which watch is it? It's a watch that was recommended in like every r/male fashion advice thread in 2012. I believe it's called the Timex Weekender with the olive band. Hit pretty nice at age 24. I'm not sure. At age 35, maybe I need to take a different approach. That's a classic. How much is it worth? Watches are pricey, right? How much is this one worth? Like 500 bucks, 30 bucks? That's not that bad. I think I probably paid like 40 bucks for it. So it's held its value better than most things. I bet a good watch costs as much as a gaming PC. Yeah, but unlike a gaming PC, it stays good forever. I'm not a watch guy, I think. I don't know. I've never dabbled in watches, so I don't know if I'm a watch guy. I don't find the idea of being into watches particularly appealing. I am starting to find it appealing, the idea of wearing a watch. I don't know. Just one more thing to put on your wrist.
Sure, I understand. He told me about the cello and some of the other things.
Fitbits are cringe? I don't think they're cringe.
Family immigrated from Chile. Well,
I don't know. Maybe I'm too beholden to myself, but for me, I'm like, I don't need to know how many calories like I'm burning when I'm playing with my kid. That just seems like spiritually vacant to me, but I also think I'm becoming a caricature of myself in that regard. I think I'm putting on airs and these are just people that are like living their lives. These staircases only go up? The hell? I'm not, if you were, I would never insult a Fitbit or an Apple Watch wearer, because I know that like, probably 70% of chat is wearing one right now. At least a fitness tracker to me makes more sense than like, what's his problem? Like having access to email on your wrist. Like I really don't want to have access to email, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, whatever on my wrist. That for me is a step too far. I like to build like a little Faraday cage around my physical body at least. I guess it would be nice to have like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch where if I had a heart attack, it would call 911. That would be kind of sick. But what about like a watch that serves like no purpose but just like tells the time? That sounds kind of cool too. Are you so concerned about heart attacks lately? I think like your mid-20s is where you start to be like, oh, my real life has started. In your mid-30s, like I feel great. But just things start to possibly happen in your life where you're like, oh yeah, nobody lives forever. Up on this one. Dan, do you wear a watch? He strikes me as a watch user. He barely has a phone. I don't think the light phone is going to catch on, and I could be wrong. But I do think that Dan is on the cutting edge of the unplug movement. And I say that non-ironically. I say that sincerely. I think most people will probably, by unplugging, they will choose to just make their existing phone dumber instead of going light phone mode. They'll put like parental controls or permissions or something on it, but I don't think he's way off base, man. This is a disaster. Me looking for a Henley in San Francisco. So true. So true. And then when you buy one, you're like, huh, this color's nice. And then you put it on stream and everybody's like, why are you wearing scrubs? And you're like, fuck, that's why the color looked nice. It looked familiar to me because that's what the doctor wears. Son of a bitch. Do not buy a light blue Henley. I've learned my lesson. Hannah, why'd you shave the beard? I think I talked about it during Chained Together today, which I can't believe we played and beat in 20 minutes. Squeaks could never, except for that time that maybe he did. I saw myself in the mirror yesterday, and it like wasn't the beard I grew up with. It was like it was kind of getting curly, and I would even possibly describe it as like a little puby. And then I tried to trim it shorter, but like the clippers don't hit all the hair like the same way. So you got to do like 17 passes of it. And then I was like, I just got to simplify it, honestly. Campaign failed. Fuck you, Santa Fortuna. They buried this dude in Fort Knox. I had to get like 20 different disguises just to get in there. I had to blow up the door with a fire extinguisher.
Back to the drawing board, 47.
Shit was impossible. Anyway, long story short, the other thing is, and it's, I'm loath to admit it, okay? But I think I'm at the age and the gray hair pattern where I feel like I benefit from not intentionally making myself look older. I know when you're like 18, you're like, I gotta get a beard because like I'm a man now. But like I've been a man for like a long time. I kind of want to look like a little bit more boyish.
I'm sure you learned a few useful tricks.
I think the stubble is the way to go, man.
Take on a new assignment.
I don't think the beard was horrible, but it was... I'm not touching that one. I don't think the beard was horrible, but I didn't feel... I don't know, I didn't feel 100% comfortable in it. Twink rebirth. Okay. You used to know Chongqing? Well, like at the streets of Chongqing, I've plied my trade there.
Welcome to Hokkaido.
Though.
Just wants to earn more.
How do you serve food in Hitman?
It may. I just don't know who to invest in.
You need a waiter disguise. But then can I just serve food to anybody, or do I have to wait for them to come to me? I mean, they're never going to find me. They saw it go down, but they're never going to find me. It is a little chaotic in here. Occupied? It worked. What are you doing in here? The door was locked. I wish I could take her fit. Hitman's not that progressive.
Who are you?
What even? You came into my bathroom! Yamate! Yamate! That scene where James Bond and Xenia Onatop are like fighting but also intimating and having intercourse inside of the sauna. Sheesh, dude, that movie is kino. They don't do that. It's now James Bond. Like the Daniel Craig movies have been good, don't get me wrong. And the Pierce Brosnan ones after Goldeneye are like kind of ass, but they were cooking the first one. In Goldeneye 1, they were cooking, man. That was like, it's almost Crank 2 high voltage level.